Hi everyone, and welcome back to Rough Rider, where every week I talk writing, self-publishing, and making it as an author. So even if you normally write novels, you might want to start getting into blogging. For authors, it's a simple and affordable way to really build an audience and get your name out there. So here's how you can start your own blog and stick with it long term. First step is to decide what you'll blog about. So ask yourself, why do I even want to start a blog? For authors, there are a lot of reasons to start one. You could use your blog as a news feed to update your subscribers on upcoming book releases, status of your work in progress, any Kindle countdown deals or free book promos that you might be running. You could also publish short stories to your blog to keep readers interested while you're working on your next novel. You could use your blog for educational content like I do, but the choice is yours. It could be personal, it could be educational, or it could just be a place for you to market your book. But whatever the purpose, it should be consistent. Subscribers are going to be expecting certain content. So they'll lose interest if you start throwing in too many random posts. What they'll end up doing is just following someone else's blog who does cater to the interests that they originally came to your blog for in the first place. So if you want to go in multiple directions with your blog, it's probably a better idea to just make a separate blog for each topic. So you could have one for book updates, another for stories that you want to be freely available online, and another blog for educational or informative content. By keeping them separate, you won't turn your readers off with posts that don't line up with their interests. Anyway, after you've decided what you actually want to start a blog for, your next step would be to choose a blog host. So you have to decide what site you want to host your blog. If you already have an author website, you'll usually be able to create a blog through your website host like Squarespace. If you don't have an author website and you don't plan on making one, which I do not recommend, then you're gonna have to create a standalone blog. There are free and there are paid blog hosts. Go with whatever one your budget allows. But here's what you'll usually get with each. For free blogs, your blog's gonna be listed as a subdomain. So instead of blog.com, it'll be blog.webhost.com. Usually the free ones are less customizable and they usually give you less insight into your web traffic. Paid blogs, on the other hand, the blog will usually have its own domain name, so it'll just be blog.com. Usually they have better looking templates and they're more customizable, and you get more analytic data to see how your blog is doing. Also gives you more details about who's actually reading your blog. Like for example, I use Squarespace for my website and I have my blog hosted on there, and they give you a lot of analytic data about your web traffic. So it lets me see the number of unique and return visitors, lets me see where they're located, lets me see information about their demographics, like their age, their gender, and also where they were referred from, like if it was from social media or YouTube. But anyway, if you don't already have an author website you can host your blog through, then here are some of the bigger blog hosts out there that you can choose from. I'll put links in the description for each. But you got WordPress, you have Medium, Blogger.com, you've got Tumblr, and Wix. Choose which one you like best based on the criteria that matters most to you, whether it's aesthetics, ease of use, popularity, or price. Now that you've found your blog host, next step is to come up with a post schedule. Blogs work best when you post consistently. If someone subscribes to your blog, they should know when to expect your next post. If you post sporadically or unpredictably, you're less likely to build a long-term audience. This is especially true if you don't post for a while, because readers might think you've stopped blogging and unsubscribe. So when you're trying to figure out how often you're going to post, you should try to set a schedule for yourself that's both realistic and sustainable. If you're super busy, it makes sense to do it maybe weekly or bi-weekly. Don't post every day. Maybe at first you'd be able to do more than that, but life will catch up with you sooner or later. So if you set the bar too high at the beginning, eventually it's going to get too hard to follow the schedule you set for yourself. So start slow, and if you end up having more time to post more often, then go ahead, do it. But don't go too hard at the beginning and burn yourself out. So once you know when you're going to be posting, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, multiple times a week, you are going to have to decide when you're actually going to write these posts. Choose a day or more than one day a week that is especially devoted to writing for your blog. Also pick out a day that you'll use to edit that post. You can even have a day that you use to plan out the social media posts for your blog. Personally, I try to do my blog posts on Tuesdays. So I'll release a post on Tuesday, and that same day I'll be working on the post for the following Tuesday. So I'm working on next week's blog post on the day that, this week's blog post is going out. Then I'll use Wednesday for editing, and on Friday I'll write out the social media posts I have associated with that blog post. That way I've got everything ready for the next week. Alternatively, you could batch your posts. Basically, you write a bunch of posts over the course of a couple of days, and then you schedule them for publication. I used to do this. I would write like 2 to 3 months worth of blog posts, assuming that they were being posted weekly. I would write a couple of months worth of those over the course of maybe like a week or two, and then I wouldn't have to write anything for 2 to 3 months. It was great. I think about going back to that a lot, but then sometimes I just burn myself out creatively if I write too much, so it's a little bit better for me to just do it weekly at this point. But if you do decide to do that, once you see that you're getting close to running out of pre-written posts, you just set aside another week or two so that way you can write another few months worth. You can just start the whole process over again. But whether you batch your posts or write them weekly, you'll want to stay organized with it. I find that project management software makes it so much easier to stick to a schedule. I use this software called Asana to keep track of my blog and my YouTube channel and all of the content that I make. It's free, it's so easy to use, and it's got features that have like really saved me. There's no way I would have been able to stay this organized without it. And I swear this is not like a paid ad, it's really not. I just really like this software. You can schedule tasks and subtasks. So I treat each blog post or video as a task, and then the steps to completing that blog post or video as subtasks. So there will be write blog post, edit blog post, schedule blog posts, write blog posts, social media, stuff like that. It helps you to stay so much more consistent, and it helps you to remember when you should write things, not just when you should release them. Okay, so now you've got some content, great. Your next step is to promote your blog. Once you start posting to your blog, you can go ahead and push it on other people online. As usual, the easiest place to do this is social media. You should link to every new blog post that you release, and then use appropriate hashtags to boost its visibility. So while you could just post the link and rely on the preview image that pops up to catch people's attention, it's probably better to include a pre-written line or two as a hook. I draft up social media posts for every blog post that I write. So that way I don't have to come up with one on the spot when I go to actually post a link to the blog. And unless you're using a blog host like Medium, where users are browsing there for stuff to read, people probably aren't going to know that your blog even exists without you posting about it on social media. They're not likely to just stumble upon it randomly. So this means that social media is vital for bloggers. It's basically a public utility at this point. So start being more active on social media. It's awkward sometimes, especially at the beginning. I've said before, I really don't like interacting with random strangers. It's not my thing. I don't mind answering comments on my videos because you guys initiated it. I'm just usually not the one to make the first move. But anyway, if you just do it more often, you'll learn to get more comfortable with it. Becoming comfortable with promoting yourself online will go a long way in helping you with your blogging, and it also help you with your books. So yeah, I've said before that authors could start a blog as a way to promote their book. That's what I do. I find ways to tie in my book with subjects that people are interested in. But you can use a blog for more than that. There's lots of reasons you might want to start one. But if you do want to be successful, then you've got to be consistent with it like anything else. Don't stray off topic, cater to your readers' interests, stick to your schedule, post regularly, and make sure to always promote it online. You can gather a lot of attention by creating a blog that people like to read. And as you're building this audience, you're gathering more potential readers for your fiction. If they liked your blog, there's a good chance they're going to like your book. Anyway, if you're watching my videos here, I do have a blog post for every single video that I make. This should come as no surprise, but there's a link in the description to the blog post version of this video, just like all the rest of them. So if you found this interesting or helpful, please like and subscribe. Also go and subscribe to my Rough Rider blog. You can find that on my author website. But yeah, go follow me on social media. And as always, thank you for watching. God bless.